Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to be joined with undefeated 1-0 boxer Travis Walters. How are you, mate?
I'm not too bad, mate. How's yourself?
I'm good, mate. Very good.
Okay,
My first question for you is, what first got you into boxing?
to be honest, mate, when I was a kid, obviously in primary school and stuff, there was a lot of my friends who joined the local club. So obviously they came to school and everyone was talking about it and stuff like that. So I kind of just went along with them really and stuck at it ever since. And that was when I was a 10-year-old kid. Now I'm 26, so 16 years later, still there. Well, still boxing, not in the same gym, but
Did you go through an amateur career?
oh yeah. So obviously I was amateur for pretty much 15 years really. I've only recently just turned pro, so I was amateur for 15 years, box amateur for 15 years. I had about 160 plus amateur fights, 2 national titles, boxing various companies and stuff like that. So
you were a pretty good amateur then, by the sound of things.
I was well experienced, but I just felt like it was now was a
Right
perfect time. So really, yeah, there was nothing more that I could probably try and achieve. I got off of JB trials off the bat of the last elite ABAs, and I just felt like I was a bit too old to probably go down that path and try and pursue a career on the JB team. But it is what it is. Now I felt like I was ready to turn professional, so that's what I did.
Yes. And you did make your wait, so was the goal at the start of like this year, was it to turn pro?
Well, it was like, to be honest, it was just something that I'd always wanted to do. Really, it wasn't really a goal this year, and I never necessarily like set out at the beginning of the year to turn professional. It was something that just like came about really, because I knew that obviously I was going to turn pro eventually, and like I say, I'm 20. Well, at the time I was 25, so I thought, well, I don't want to really leave it any later than what I have, and that's why I turned pro now.
That's fair enough. So let's talk your debut. Of course, you boxed on the Wasserman show.
Yeah.
So was that good experience as you were boxing like on TV?
Yeah, obviously my fight went on the live televised broadcast or nothing like that. So obviously it was still a massive opportunity for me. But like, to be honest, I felt like with the amount of amateur experience that I had, I feel like them's the type of shows that I belong on anyway. Do you know what I mean? So for me, just like another show, and that's what Steve Wood, my manager, was saying. He was saying, do not think like the venue and the occasion I'll get you and stuff like that, but I thrive from bigger venues and big occasions like that. The bigger, the better. Do you know what I mean? So
can I expect you to be on more Wasserman shows or just on TV in general?
I would like to think so. Steve Wood's obviously got a good working relationship with the promoters and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So he's my manager, and obviously I've just got to trust that he can get us on them big shows. And hopefully when they come up in the northeast again, then
maybe if Josh Taylor defends his title in Sunderland.
Josh Kelly, sorry, you mean?
Oh yes, Kelly.
Yeah.
Josh Kelly defends British in Sunderland.
Yeah, I definitely think that he's the Wasserman shows will come up into the northeast more often, obviously, because Josh has obviously got the British title, so it makes sense for them to bring the shows up here. Do you know what I mean? So I hopefully there's a couple that comes up this year, same maybe, and hopefully I can get on them.
How busy do you want to be in 2023?
As busy as possible. To be fair, I'd like 4 or 5 fights at least. But Steve Wood promised us 4 fights at least when I signed the contract with him. He says even if I box any small shows, the VIP shows, which I'll be up and down the country or in various places. But like I say, he's promised us 4 shows anyway. So regardless whether I get on the Wasserman shows or not, or any other big promoters shows, I'll at least be looking to get out at least 4 times.
Wait, who's your promoter, sorry?
Steve Wood.
Oh, Steve Wood, yeah. He puts on good shows.
Yeah, well, I've never actually been to one of these shows yet because I've only recently just signed with him. And like I say, I boxed obviously on the Wasserman show, so I've never gotten a chance to actually go to one of these shows. But there's potential dates in February and March that he's maybe give us the back end of February and early March. But I'll just say what works for me. So, and
that's it, mate. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
So you're about 4 fights, maybe 5.
Yeah, I'd like.
Do you want to build your record up? quite quickly?
I just want to I want to be as active as I can, as fast as I can, really. Do you know what I mean? Like I was saying before, I'm 26 now, so I don't really want to be waiting about. As busy as I can be, I'd rather be like that. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, so
hopefully I can
like if
push
you got an opportunity in
out
February
one or two days.
on a Steve Wood shoot,
Yeah.
and then in maybe you never know in April or May, or just you might get a shot on the Wasserman card again, or depends how many fight offers you get.
Oh, absolutely. But I'll take whatever I get offered. To be honest, I'm not really bothered where it is or when it is. I'd rather just be as active as possible and stick around in the gym and keep me a fight weight, and then obviously whatever comes. Do you know what I mean?
So are you still in the gym training?
Yeah, I've just recently went back. I've had a good Christmas and I've enjoyed a little bit of time off from the last fight. But now I'm back in the gym. So I'll be working away. I'm going away in a couple of weeks' time for a holiday, but it's only a short one. It's not too long, so I'll be training while I'm away, anyways. And then hopefully when I'm back, I'm not too far away to
The fight day.
get going. Yeah.
That's good, mate. And so on your debut, were you happy with your performance?
I was happy. I felt like I was a little bit too eager and stuff like that, but I mean that's just excitement. I sold a lot of tickets, so I felt like everything worked well. I felt like I adapted well into the professional side of things. But if there was one thing what I thought I could have tried to work on was obviously landing more combinations. It was instead of just single shots and stuff like that. But obviously sometimes with people like that, he was a well experienced professional himself, so it was hard to land against him. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes a game plan doesn't always stick, does it? So you've just got to do what you can do. And I won a fight, and that's the main thing. So move forward.
So how many more 4-rounders do you want to have? 2 more 4-rounders or?
No, well, I think Steve, my manager, when obviously, like I was saying before, when we signed into the contract, he says that he'll give us four rounders and then we'll move on to the six, and then from there, take it from there. See what opportunities come from the sixes. But
Yeah.
I felt like I managed the 4 rounds well, and I know I was fit enough and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So that wasn't an issue. And that never will be the
And
issue.
you'll get better when you move into
Yeah.
move on to these 6 rounds.
Yeah, totally. Obviously, you're just learning to get through the rounds and pace yourself, and when you can pick it up and when you can't pick it up and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But I felt like I was non-stop from the beginning until the end, and then I was fit enough to do that. So that wasn't ever going to be an issue. Do you know what I mean?
Who's your coach?
So Anth Kelly and John Stubbs, but obviously Anth's based in Sunderland and John's based in Hartlepool, but we'll like work together. It's called Tenacity. They created a team called Tenacity, so them are both obviously them are the founders of that, and they train me, Ben Marksby and Adam Rightchard.
So do you spar Ben?
Yeah, we all spar each other. Obviously, I'm a bit heavier than them, so obviously it's not like hell for leather sparring. Do you know what I mean? But we help each other out in the gym. Obviously, that's good. It's good to be around people like that. Obviously, because them are probably sharper than me and stuff like that. With me being a bigger person and stuff like that, but it's
It
good
was
for me.
good that they were boxing the same night as you.
Yeah, well, that's why Steve managed to get the three of us on. Obviously, there was only supposed to be two of us on, me and Ben, but then he managed to get Adam on pretty much last minute it was the same week, really. It was a fight week. He managed to get him on I don't know how we managed it, but obviously we were grateful for it because we could have all enjoyed Christmas. Adam weren't supposed to be fighting until the 18th of December, so it would have meant that me and Ben would have to stick around in the gym to keep him busy and keep him sparring and keep him sharp and stuff like that. But obviously, with us all being on the show meant that we could have like an earlier Christmas, so that was a good thing, and we're all thankful for Steve for getting us on the show. You know what I mean?
And I'm sure because you all did so well, I'm sure Steve will help you get more opportunities as he gets his fighters on all different shows, doesn't he? He's
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what he said. Obviously, it's coming up into the north, and he wants to build like a fan base because we're the only three fighters what he's actually gotten promoted in the northeast. So I think he wants to build like a fan base up for us three, and then hopefully in the near future, he can start bringing these VIP shows up into the northeast and start with them maybe as a 5 or 6 fight show and then build it up.
I'm
And
sure,
hopefully then,
mate. I'm sure Have you got more people like messaging you after your debut? Like, because you boxed on like the Wasserman show. Have you got any new people starting to follow you?
Well, a lot of people there was people who was out. Well, like I say, it was a big show, so it wasn't really hard for us to sell tickets. And like I say, it's only along the road from where I live anyway. I live in Sunderland, and Newcastle's about a 20-minute drive, 15-minute drive, if that. So I was selling tickets to people who I wouldn't normally sell tickets to. Do you know what I mean? So that was good for me. Obviously, it helped me out, and
Getting the fan base.
yeah, and probably obviously picked the fan base up along the way as well. It was quite busy. Obviously, I was on first, but nevertheless, because it was really loud and really busy when I came out. So, um, it was a good night, and I enjoyed it.
How did you feel when you were walking to the ring?
I was buzzing, to be fair. Like the ring walk weren't that big, like it weren't that long. It was a short walk, but there was plenty of atmosphere when I was coming out, and a lot of people were there. So it was a great feeling.
Yeah, and I'm sure you loved the noise when your hand got raised as well.
Yeah, totally, mate. It was busy. You wouldn't have thought that it was the first fight on, if that's what I can say, because there was a lot of people there. Not just for me, obviously, there was people there that was early anyways, but a lot of them, the majority of the people that were there were probably my fans. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, you kicked off a great show, just put it that way.
Oh, it was a good show, mate. It was a privilege to be a part of, and I was glad that I was on first anyway, to be honest, because then I got to
Did you
get
get
changed.
to watch them?
Yeah, I
Your
did.
team?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So obviously, as soon as I boxed, by the time I'd done the interviews and stuff, it was maybe like the third or fourth fight. But then after that, I got changed and I managed to catch the rest of the fights. So that was obviously it was good rather than sitting in the changing room all night waiting to be on. And nah, at least I got to say the fights.
That's good, mate. And before I let you go, do you want to shout out managers, sponsors?
Aye, well, all my sponsors know who they are. Obviously, they're plastered all over my shorts, so I'd just like to say a massive thanks because obviously without them, the show wouldn't have been possible. I'd like to say a massive thanks to Steve Wood, obviously, for getting us on that show, which is and as that probably speaking for Ben and Adam as well. And I'd like to say a massive thanks to Stubbsy and Anth for obviously training us. And hopefully this year will be better than last, and we can get busier and be as active as possible. So
Yeah. Good luck in 2023, mate.
cheers. Thanks very much, mate.
Bye, mate.
See you later, pal.